FAQ 1.4 was just announced today, and it's a doozy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Battlecast. In today's episode, I'm going to be having a discussion, showing you my reactions to the 1.4 FAQ for Warhammer Underworlds Shadespire. I love FAQs. They really get the nerd juices flowing. So many debates that we've had on the forums and on Facebook are finally going to be resolved, and we'll see who the victors are. No, I'm just joking. We're going to be all victors because this FAQ, I feel like, is very much an enabling FAQ. There isn't a whole lot of you can't do that, and there's a whole lot of you can do that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to go through not all the changes, but some of the changes I think are most exciting and most interesting. So this one here has been a long debated issue, which is if a card provides a bonus to attack actions with range 1 or 2, could it be used with a range 3 attack being used from a distance of 1 or 2? So to put this into perspective, this is like great strength being used with the shade glass darts being thrown from range 1. Yes, I think that makes sense. The answer is no. Range is the characteristic of an attack. So if you're using a range 3 weapon and your benefit is only for range 1 to 2 or whatever, too bad, you can't use it. So finally nice to get some clarification on that topic. This one has also been really interesting, and there's a lot of interpretations around what is a warband. When is your warband considered to have dealt damage or taken a fighter out of action for the purpose of assassination? So your warband is your fighters and your cards. So if you used trap or whatever, or even like shard gale or whatever you're doing, basically if you're killing them through something from your hand or with your fighters, your warband killed them. So that's nice to finally get that clarified. Now similarly but different is when is a fighter considered to have dealt damage or taken a fighter out of action for the purposes of precise use of force. So kind of how you think it works, at least how I thought it would work, is if your fighter deals the damage through an attack, then that counts for precise use of force. Twist the knife, as we all thought, that is going to count for precise use of force, but things like trap are not going to count because the damage is resulting from not the attack action. So I think this finally just clarifies it with a nice bow tied up, and there hopefully won't be any more discussion around that. So this next FAQ is very interesting, and one that I think has caused quite a bit of confusion, and that is if you draw an objective card that's score immediately for something that you have qualified for previously that phase, can you score it? So here we go. So can you score this immediately objective if, as an activation, you discard and draw an objective and you meet the conditions of that objective? For this example, it's draw the blood for the blood god. So that's in an action phase in which 3 of your fighters have made a charge action. So you can score it. And so this is sort of confusing, but if you think about it, it makes sense. So there are other cards like this. So for example, Draw the Gaze of Khorne, which is score this immediately if your warband takes 2 or more fighters out of action in this phase. So if 2 of them have died this phase and you draw this card, you can score it immediately. However, there are cards where it's not going to make sense. For example, precise use of force. Even though you may have done the perfect damage to take out somebody that phase, I think that the opportunity has passed. At least that's the sense that I'm getting. Don't quote me on this, and in fact, leave in the comments section below what you think this means, because it may have opened a whole other can of worms. I'm interpreting it as those generic score immediatelys, I guess, like are 3 or more people dead? Because I wonder, like, what if you, like, cover ground? Like, if you at some point during the phase made a move action that was more than 6, I mean, that guy still had made the move action, the move token is still on him. Does he score that immediately? I don't know if this has really cleared things up for me. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm kind of I'm kind of confused. This one is very interesting. Can Angrad's Furious Parry be used in the same way as another attack action, or can it be used only as a reaction? It can be used in the same way as other attack actions. I never knew this. I always thought it had to be a reaction, so that's kind of funny. You know, to those of you who did this, good for you. I mean, I really thinking outside the box. Or maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. So this is a cool interaction here. So if Fatal Riposte is used for Steelheart, can he instead just use one of his multi-targeting attacks like Mighty Swing instead of his regular attack? And the answer is yes. So like, that's dope. I mean, you really want to be careful when you attack this guy because you might just kill your whole team. I mean, I can just picture, like, for example, you know, 2 Skaven are surrounding Steelheart, and then the third one comes in to like trigger there, you know, if there's more than 3 of you, shit gets out of control, and then he's just like, oh, you failed that attack? I just kill everybody. So that would be very good. Righteous Strike getting a buff, I guess. So if I make the Righteous Strike attack action and target a leader and it fails, I can make a reaction to make an attack action. But if it fails, can I make a reaction again and therefore another reaction? So to summarize this, at least from what I understand, basically I think this just means that Righteous Strike is always successful, because it sounds like you basically are just continuously reacting to your failure until it's successful and you hit, which is pretty amazing. I think that's what it must mean. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, that's pretty strong. I mean, you just perpetually react. Seems good. Should be called Angrad's Champions. Damn. Cunning but brutal. We knew you were cunning, but how dare you? How dare you? Can I play Cunning but Brutal as a reaction to a move action I have made with Quick Thinker, itself made as a reaction to a move action made by a fighter as a part of their charge action? Oh man, I bet this pissed someone off in a tournament real bad. And the answer is yes. So, to clarify what this means, alright, you're standing there, your fighter, you get charged by, you know, let's just say it's Tefk or even Fuel, you know, and you want to get the hell out of there. So, you play Quick Thinker and move your fighter away from Fuel over to poor Mad Magram, away from Fuel. His charge action, of course, now fails. You play Cunning but Brutal as a reaction to your Quick Thinker and kill Mad Magram. You bastard. This one was debated about for a long time, and I think as a general rule in card games, things that say you can't do something, like, rules say you can't do something, but if cards say you can do something, you can, unless another card says you can't do something. Things that say you can't do something always supersede things that say you can. At least that's how I've always found things out in card games. So anyway, hope that makes sense. If I play Cruel Taunt on a fighter, can that fighter later be inspired by a ploy card that inspires them, like Inspiration Strikes? No. They're done. They're done like dinner. This one is mind-blowing. As you know, if you watch the channel, I love playing warbands who use dodge characteristics. Shields are for chumps. What does normally mean for Last Chance? Does it take the fighter's situation, including supporting fighters, relevant upgrades, and ploys, into account? Or is it based on their characteristic? The answer, it is simply based on the defense characteristic of the fighter. So if they roll dodges, it's always dodges and criticals, which is amazing. I'll be honest, I was playing this card very gentlemanly, which was, if I was supported, then I knew if I rolled a support, that Last Chance wouldn't work, but it would have, which makes this way better. What's crazy is that if you have the Acrobat upgrade and you're rolling 2 defense dice, or you have Ephemeral Shield where you get the shield characteristic now, you still benefit from Last Chance, because it says situation. Yeah, does it take a fighter's situation, including supporting fighters, relevant upgrades, and ploys, or is it based on the character's defense characteristic? Let me just check that out. Upon closer examination, I'm not sure if things like Remembered Shield or Ethereal Shield, which is what I meant to say, do still work, because it does say that this fighter's defense characteristic changes to shield, but this FAQ says that, you know, does it take the fighter's situation, including supporting fighters, relevant upgrades, and ploys into account, or is it based on the fighter's defense characteristic? It is simply based on the defense characteristic of the fighter. If, for example, the fighter had a defense characteristic of dodge, a roll of anything other than dodge or critical would work. This again, I just wish that they had thrown in a couple extra lines around the upgrades, like Remembered Shield or like Ethereal Shield. But because those upgrade cards say that they change your defense characteristic, and this says it's simply based on the defense characteristic, I would say if you had those upgrades equipped, then Last Chance wouldn't work around your base characteristic. I hope that makes sense. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Come on, guys, you can just put in extra lines. It'll make all the difference in the world. Now, this is a very interesting one. I've said that about everything, I'm sorry. If an enemy fighter would be taken out of action by my fighter's attack action, but my opponent uses Soul Trap or Last Chance, can I still drive them back? Yes, you can, and of course you can, but we always forget. You're just so rattled that you tried to kill them and they survived. And now you're just like what do I do? Push them back, because they're gonna smash you. I've seen this in a number of videos where I've used Last Chance and my opponent just like hasn't pushed me back, and as a result I just get to smash them to bits. So push them back even if they live. This one's very interesting. There I am saying it again. If a fighter suffers damage from an attack action and then someone plays trap to inflict an extra damage that would take them out, they're now taken out of action because of the trap. Can Last Chance be played? And it can't be played because trap is not an attack action. So there we go. I think I've been guilty of this one. I think I've probably used Last Chance to save my bacon. So this one's very confusing. I'm honestly just asking you guys what you think about this one. So Hidden Paths says that a fighter is considered to have made a move action. Does this count towards triggering cards like Quick Thinker, Cunning but Brutal, and March of the Dead? Here we go. So for the rest of the round, the fighter is considered to have made a move action. So this will affect what actions they can take later in the round. So what they're saying here, I assume, is you couldn't make a charge action because you are considered to have made a move action. This means that Quick Thinker and Cunning but Brutal cannot be triggered by Hidden Path because there was no action to make the reaction to, and you cannot score cover ground from Hidden Paths. That's fine. However, as the fighter is considered to have made a move action in that round, that fighter does count for March of the Dead when you check that in the end phase. It's a very confusing sentence. I guess the long and the short of it is that being considered to have made a move action and actually making a move action are different, in that Quick Thinker is reacting to the action of moving. You're like, I am moving and attacking, or I am moving, whereas Hidden Paths is a ploy and it's resulting in your character moving, and it's considered a move action, but they didn't actually make a move action. Yeah, I think that makes sense. This is one I'm going to have a screenshot of on my phone just to clarify, but boy oh boy, that's confusing. Let me know what you guys think. This one's dastardly. You are demonic if you have thought of this. Can the damage my fighter suffers from using demonic weapon trigger my turn, and if so, in what order is it resolved? Yes. Wow. You would play my turn after resolving the demonic weapon attack action. So like, oh my god, just picture this, right? Gurzag with demonic weapon charges in and smashes somebody. He suffers a damage, becomes inspired. You play my turn and smash somebody else. I mean, this is amazing. Of course, it makes perfect sense, but good for you for thinking of it, whoever you are. Can the damage my fighter suffers from shattering terrain while making a charge action trigger my turn, and if so, how is it resolved? Very cool, guys, very cool. Yes, you would play my turn after the move action taken as a part of the charge action. So basically, you shatter terrain's in effect. You have my turn in your hand. You make a charge, so you move up to Crick and Scritch, but you move up to Crick. Then you play my turn and kill Scritch. Then you go back to Crick, who was your original target, and kill him also. Very interesting. Shame on you for thinking of this. This is why new players can't have fun, because like you come up against combos like this, it's outrageous. If a fighter both moves and is pushed while shattering terrain is in effect, how much damage do they suffer and when? So I think this question specifically, to sum it up easily, is if you had Skidder Scurry on Scritch and made a charge. So of course, you know, he makes a move action can be pushed, he makes an attack action can be pushed, all that stuff. So essentially you're moving once and being pushed twice. So would you take like 3 damage? And the answer is no. They suffer 1 damage after the first move or push. They don't suffer any damage from subsequent moves or pushes. So that's kind of nice. Cataphren Relics. How many times can I use the draw cards reaction on a model with 4+ relics, making a charge action? So I think people on the forums had this right, that if you charged into a group, you would get 1 draw for the movement action, and then if you did like an AoE attack, you would draw for every subsequent attack that you're making. So I think that makes sense, and good for you who argued for that point. This is a legendary interaction here. So I have a fighter equipped with Vampiric Weapon, and I play Last Lunge when that fighter would be taken out of action. If that fighter takes an enemy fighter out of action with the attack action from Last Lunge, removing a wound token from my fighter, what happens? Amazingly, if after the attack action from Last Lunge, the fighter has fewer wound tokens on their fighter than their wound characteristic, they're not taken out of action. So it should be called like your second Last Lunge in this case, because you saved your life. I mean, that's just so awesome. I need to see this happen. You're going down, you kill someone, and his life force brings you back to life. Amazing. So those are all the FAQ cards that I thought were very cool. I'm sure you can tell how excited I am. This is a very enabling FAQ. I think we're going to see some really cool things here. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I messed up. I might have. I tried to be a little safer this time because last video I blew it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider supporting the channel by liking the video, leaving a comment below, or even subscribing to the channel. Until next video, I'll see you then. Thank you.